Well, hello, friends. This is Kimberly. It is season 2, episode 2. And I'm so glad that you are here today. It's an important episode, and it's a little different than the episodes that I've done before. My friends, today is a reckoning. Today is a really important episode and lesson for you. If you feel that you have a great life, but there are pieces of your life where you know are untapped, maybe you're unfulfilled, and maybe you know you're meant for more, this is for you. Today, we're going to have a moment of reckoning. I'm going to tell you a quick story, and then I'm going to leave you with a lesson. So make sure you listen all the way through because this is really going to wake you up. And I think you're going to have an aha moment by the end of this. Okay. So today, as I said, is a day of reckoning. And it's kind of a day of, I don't even know if this is a word, self-confrontation, self-realization. I don't know how you want to describe it, but it is. And it's based around this phrase, for such a time as this. Have you ever heard that phrase, for such a time as this? Now I feel like I'm going to be using this all the time because when I hear it, I realize for such a time as this, like it's meant for now. Like this is the time, like it's now or never. This is where we're supposed to be. This is where everything's culminating. Things need to change from here on out. And I don't know if you feel that way. I think a lot of you have great lives. You may love your career. You may be healthy. You may have strong mental health. You may have lots of friends. You may have a great church. You may feel like your relationship with God is great. You may have a great business or whatever it is. Like things may be great. But I think if you're being honest with yourself, you feel you have untapped potential or you would not be listening to this podcast. I think this podcast gets you fired up and inspired so that you'll pursue greater things in your life, so that you will use your God-given gifts for greater, right? But I think what we avoid sometimes is the actual heart of the matter. The truth is that there are pieces of our life that we're kind of pushing down. Dare I say, suppressing, maybe even putting under the rug, like we're like shoving them under the rug. And we're saying, you know what? Everything else is great in my life. Why do I need to worry about this? I think the truth is those things that you're not worrying about are actually the things that take up some of your brain space. Like at night in bed, you may be thinking about I just feel like, and again, we don't mean this in an arrogant way because I say this all the time on this podcast, but we know we're meant for more. We know we have gifts that we've been given or skills or needs that are going unfulfilled. And what I want us to do today is explore this phrase of for such a time as this and take it as a reckoning and a wake up call for ourselves. And I'm going to tell you a story and then I'm going to give you an assignment at the end. So make sure you listen all the way through. So the phrase for such a time as this is actually pretty famous. A lot of people know about this. It's from the Bible. It's from the book of Esther in the Old Testament. And it's a very poignant and pointed phrase. It's a wake-up call. I think when you hear that, when someone says for such a time as this, it's kind of like, it's go time. Like, this is serious. There's not going to be another time like this. So I wanted to give you the brief story of Esther in case you haven't read this book in the Bible, or maybe you don't even read the Bible. But there's a great story, and it's in the Old Testament, as I said, about Esther, who is a Jewish orphan living in Persia. Okay. And she's being raised by her cousin Mordecai. So the Persians have kind of taken over and they're ruling the Jews. They don't love the Jews. And it's just kind of this contentious time, right? And through a series of events, Esther, who again was a Jewish orphan, wins a sort of beauty pageant, if you will, during that time to become the new queen. So under King Xerxes, she is chosen as a queen. He thinks she's beautiful and all this great stuff, but she keeps her Jewish identity a secret. Mordecai, her cousin, said, I would not tell him this. I would not tell him. So she doesn't. So she hides it and she keeps going and she's living her life and it's very comfortable and good. But then comes a time when there's a high ranking official under the king named Haman who plots to exterminate all of the Jews in the empire. Okay, so imagine this. Esther is the king's queen and she's a Jew. Okay. So this high ranking official named Haman plots to exterminate all the Jews and he convinces the king to sign a decree to make it happen. Okay. So back in that time, when the king would sign decrees, it was like, this is what's happening. Like, there's no going back. This is decree. They can't even change the decree. Like, this is it. So he signs it. Well, Mordecai finds out that there is this plot to kill the Jews and tells Esther and says, listen, Esther, you're going to have to go to the king and you're going to have to plead for your people. You're going to have to plead for your family and everyone and tell him you're a Jew and plead for your family. Okay. But not only was that scary, letting him in on that, but, telling him that she's a Jew, then asking him a favor to not, have that decree, like to issue maybe a new decree. But you weren't even allowed to approach the king without being summoned. So somehow she's like trying to figure out what the heck to do. She's terrified. And she's like, what do I do? What do I do? But she realizes she's comfortable. She's comfortable in the palace. Her life is good, just like us people. Okay. So kind of listen to the parallels. She's comfortable in the palace with her life. And if she lets everyone know about this, lets the king know about this, what's going to happen to her? Could she die? Is he going to kill her on the spot? I mean, even her just approaching the king without being summoned is punishable by death. Okay. So she's scared, right? But then Mordecai kind of gives her a pep talk. And this is in Esther chapter 4, verse 14. He gives her a pep talk. And this is what he says. And this is where we get the famous phrase. He says, for if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place. But you and your father's family will perish. And who knows, but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this. And let me repeat that. And who knows, but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this. So what is he saying to her? He's saying, listen, you have to have the courage to do this. You were made for this. You were meant for this moment. You were put here right now for this moment to do something about this. So what happens? She goes and she talks to the king. He lets her in. He allows her to talk to him, doesn't kill her. She tells him she's a Jew. She says, please spare the Jews. And he's like, okay. And he agrees. Thank you, Lord. He agrees. And he sends out another decree that says, yes, the Jews can fight back. They can defend themselves, because he couldn't go back on the word of the first decree, but he allows them to fight for themselves. So now the day comes, the next day, the fighting begins, and the Jews are actually victorious. And then they spend a couple of days celebrating, and now there is a holiday. They call it the Festival of Purim, okay? And that is a time when they're celebrating Esther's bravery, right? And her going to the king and, overriding Haman's plan. Haman's plan was to kill all of them. And now, because of Esther's courage, the Jews were able to fight back and they were victorious and saved lives. And it's such a happy time for them. So when you hear this story, you realize that Esther's courage at such a time as that was the catalyst for amazing change, for a whole new trajectory for a people. And the same goes with you for your life, that there is a moment such as this, where if you take the courage, the trajectory of your life can be changed as well. You have to realize the position you're in, realize this moment in time, acknowledge the areas of your life where you have felt unfulfilled or untapped potential or that God is calling you. And you have to sit in that and realize this is a moment of reckoning. Am I going to do something about it or am I just going to continue with the status quo? Esther had that choice. She could keep living in the palace, everything was great, her life was good, or she could be bold and courageous and move forward. So you will hear about this phrase a lot. People talk about the courage. So for you, I want you to think about your life. And I have some homework for you. I have an assignment that I think will really help you and hopefully give you an aha moment. So maybe you want to go on a walk today. Maybe you want to just go sit on your bed in your room or go sit outside and have coffee or tea and you want to think this through. So this is the first thing that I want you to do in your assignment because this is a time of reckoning is to first recognize all of the amazing blessings in your life. You have amazing things going on. What is going on? You can eat. You have a house, you have a car, hopefully. You are, if you need a car, I just mean you have a home, hopefully, right? You have the things that you need to live. And I want you to think about anything that is a blessing, that you have health insurance, that your kids are healthy and amazing, whatever it is, think about it. Maybe your marriage is good, or maybe you're single and you're happily single, right? Think about your life and how many blessings you have. Just for a minute here, just like think about it and smile. Like physically, I want your face to smile right now. Let's all smile. We have blessings in our life, y'all. We have blessings. We have such amazing things. And I want you to think about too, while you're smiling, all the gifts that God has given you. And you may be sitting here going, what gifts have God given me? The easiest way to think about it is to think about the compliments you have gotten and the appreciation that you have gotten for something that you were able to do for somebody else. So think about it, whether it's work, whether it's personally, maybe you're a good hostess. Maybe you're very thoughtful. Maybe you're very helpful. Maybe you serve people. Maybe you're a good parent. What is it? You're a good cook. What are the gifts that God has given you? You have a gift of organization, a gift of speaking, a gift of encouragement. What is it? Okay. You could even relate it to the spiritual gifts, which I won't go into, but right now I just want you to think about all of the gifts that you have been given. So let's smile and let's get excited for the blessings in our life right now and for the gifts that we have been given. Okay. So that's first step in your assignment. So acknowledge the good things. The second thing is I want you to think about in your life where things maybe feel heavy, unfulfilled, or lacking. Some area of your life where you're like, you know what? Okay, this is ridiculous. Things could be better. And maybe I've been stagnant. Maybe I've just let it go by, be the status quo. Maybe I've just been lazy. Maybe I've been scared. Maybe I've been overthinking. What areas of your life do you feel like could be better? Maybe it's friendships. Maybe you could have more friends. Maybe it's your marriage. Maybe it's your relationship with God. Maybe it's your church. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's your mental health. Like, what areas of your life are lacking? And think about it. Why is that? When you know you have more to give, you know that you're meant for more, but there's pieces of your life that are lacking and you're just sitting here. What are those? Today, we're not going to talk about the steps to make change. Today is about a reckoning. It's about a recognition of what is. It's like taking an inventory, right? An internal inventory of all the blessings that God has given us and the gifts, and an inventory of the things that we feel like are lacking. We're not using our gifts. We don't feel unfulfilled. Ways that we don't feel like we are stepping into who God called us to be. What are those things? I want you to realize that for no other time, like realize, but for such a time as this, for such a time as this, why would you let this keep going? Are you just going to keep living your life this way and keep being sad that certain things are different because you haven't made change? We're not talking about why you haven't made change. I mean, maybe you haven't had the courage, maybe you've been scared. I don't even as much care about that right today. We're going to work on that. But what we're really looking at is where is it lacking? And the knowing that it could be better and that we haven't taken action for whatever reason, right? For whatever reason that you haven't taken action, we need to acknowledge that. And we have to realize today and make a decision for such a time as this, that we are going to pursue greater And we're not going to let this life pass us by. Y'all, God put us on this planet here one time with one life, and anything could happen. We are living the life that He gave us. He put us in this life with a certain family, with people around us, with this time era of AI and all this going on for such a time as this. This is the time. We can't keep putting it off, but I want you to acknowledge it. I want you to sit in it. I want you to sit in that uncomfortable feeling and that realization that, like, yeah, there's things I haven't done. That's what I want you to do today. And I want you to have that phrase for such a time as this to inspire you and to help you see that, like, there is hope. There is a way. You need to. You only live once. And for such a time as this, that you need to make meaningful change. Okay? That's your assignment. So I hope you go off. I hope you smile at your blessings. You smile at your gifts and you have a moment of realization and a reckoning. You don't have to be sad about it. You don't have to be mad at yourself. Nothing. It's just an inventory. Like if we were taking inventory for our businesses, it's just an inventory. What is lacking? And let's have a reckoning. And then realize that for such a time as this, you were made and you have the ability to create meaningful change. And that's why we're here together. I'm so excited. Well, there's a lot to come. We're going to talk in the future here in this season about ways that you can pursue greater things. We're going to learn from other people. I'm going to share my knowledge from working with business owners and having my own business, because all the stuff that we deal with in business, all the mind drama, the complication, the overthinking, the overanalyzing, the perfectionism, all that applies to our life. And we're going to take all of that and we're going to be better for it. And I'm so excited that you're here. Make sure you hit subscribe if you haven't already to this podcast. No matter what player you're listening in right now, hit subscribe. You don't want to miss out on any future episodes that I know are going to help change your life. Okay? So that's awesome. I'm so glad you're here. Remember, my friends, like I always say, you're just getting started. It's so true. You are. This is just the beginning. And I'm here for it. And I'm here for you. And I'm so excited. So let's do this. And until next time, bye now.
Now, this episode may be over, but our relationship does not have to end here. Head on over to KimberlyBrock.com. And yes, you can get more valuable information for your journey. And you know what? You don't need to go through this alone. I would love to help you. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye.